Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice Radio. So today, well, we need to look at those Pokemon VMAX. I showed you a video the other day, showing you that we were getting some new Pokemon VMAX. Now I can show you the Pokemon VMAX, and I think we're going to start with Rillaboom, because I like this Rillaboom. Now, our translation comes from the lovely Matthew Varive at Immunity over on Twitter. And to start off with, it's worth noting that the Rillaboom V might look different, but it's the same one we saw from the tins. So the tins that we're getting have alternate artwork, but the Rillaboom V here is exactly the same as the Rillaboom V that we're getting in our tins. We've already looked at it. I'll link that video in the description. We are focusing on the VMAX, and as predicted, the HP here is huge. It's got 330 HP, which is up there with Stonjourner VMAX, and below only Snorlax VMAX as the biggest Pokemon we've ever seen. 330 HP is absolutely gigantic. Now, it is a little bit sad to note that it's got a retreat cost of 3, which means you cannot use buff padding to buff it up a little bit more, which you could for Snorlax. But then again, I suppose you couldn't for Stonjourner VMAX. The weakness to fire is to be expected. It does make you weak against all of those welder decks, which are very good and are going to be everywhere. You've got weakness guard energy, but giving up free prizes and being weak to one of the best types in the game could potentially be an issue. If you're not being hit for weakness, being a grass Pokemon is good, because you've got stuff like the Shaman from Lost Thunder. You've got stuff like Life Forest Prism Star that you can use to heal and then not give up free prizes. You got a bad weakness, but if you're not being hit for weakness, grass means that actually you're looking pretty good in terms of not being KO'd easily and not giving up free prizes. Plus, you're hitting weakness against things like Stonjourner VMAX, so that's not bad. Although it is worth noting that water Pokemon, look at something like Lapras VMAX, they are now going to generally be weak to lightning, not grass, so that does weaken the typing a little bit. Now, the first attack here, we don't need a translation and we don't need to spend long looking at it. 1 colorless energy, 50 damage. And again, why is it 50, not 60? If it was 60, we'd be getting evolving Pokemon like Inkay. As it is, I mean, we'll get Snom, and we'll get Ditto Prism Star, but we're really not getting enough Pokemon here to make this worthwhile. It is, frankly, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit upsetting. It's not a terrible attack. It's not bad. There's just... This is a free prize Pokemon. And it's an evolution, so you've got to wait a turn to get it up and rolling. And when you've got a free prize Pokemon and you've had to spend a turn evolving it up, you really don't want to then have to be worrying about only doing 50 damage. But the second attack here is looking very nice and is absolutely worth having a chat about. You see, for 4 grass energy, it does 130 damage, which looks bad. But you are then allowed to discard up to 3 grass Pokemon attached to it, and then do an extra 50 damage for each one discarded. And if you discard free energy, now instead of doing 130, you're doing 280, and now we're excited. And don't make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, this is absolutely huge. Because 280 KOs almost anything. I mean, if we look at tag team Pokemon, you're getting the regular stuff like Reshiram and Charizard, or Mewtwo and Mew, but you're then also getting these slightly bigger stuff like Mega Sableye and Tyranitar. Yeah, sure, there's still the odd things like Magikarp and Wailord that you're not getting, but generally speaking, you're getting like all the good Tag Team GXs. You're basically getting Tag Team GXs here. Like I say, other than a couple of just exceptions for being really big. This is awesome. When you get to Pokemon V, you're again KOing everything. You're not getting all the Pokemon VMAX. Snorlax VMAX 340, you're actually still 60 damage away. You're not that close, which is a little bit weird, given how much you're doing. But the other thing you need to take into consideration here is a natural 280. What does a natural 280? there isn't much. I mean, if we look at something like Reshiram and Charizard, you can do 230 damage for 4 energy, or you can do 300, but you've got to have 6 energy on the Pokemon in order to do so. Not outside the realms of possibility. It's something that gets used, but it's an awful lot of damage. We see Mewtwo and Mewdex copying the Charizard from Hidden Fates, the GX that has a GX attack that can do 300 damage for 4 energy. And okay, 300 for 4 energy is better than 280 for 4 energy. That is a fact. But you see, that's a once per game GX attack that has to be copied. So you've got to get the Charizard in the discard and then copy it with Mewtwo and Mew. I suppose you could get it on the bench, but then you're evolving up a stage 2, which doesn't help. This is just a regular attack. And one of the things I love about this attack is that you don't have to discard the energy. You have the option of discarding the energy if you want to. But you can just do 130 damage. That's wonderful. Because if you're against a non-GX Pokemon, or indeed if you're against something that's weak, most of the time just doing 130 is going to be enough. So you keep the energy on there, you don't feel pressured to discard it. If your opponent's got a Hooper, you just use this to knock it out, keep the 4 energy, come back later. But you've got the option of discarding it if you so wish. Oh yeah, as a really fun side note, this will KO Keldeo GX, because it's only immune to EXs and GXs, and you're a Pokemon V, and they're weak, so this first attack without discarding will get a very easy KO on Keldeo. You need to do 170, you'll actually be doing 260. But then you've got the option of building it up. If you're against something like a Blacephalon, you can discard a single energy, do 180, you're good. If you're against a Zacian V, you discard 2 energy, you do 230, there's your KO. Assuming they're not mucking about with stuff like Lucario and Melmetal's GX attack, so they take 30 less damage, or Metal Frying Pan, or things of that nature. But then if they are, you can discard that 3rd energy, and then you'll be doing 280, and 280, even if they've got a Metal Frying Pan, even if they've used Lucario and Melmetal's GX attack, will get a KO on them, and life will be lovely. And now we probably need to mention the Rillaboom from Sword and Shield. Now it is a stage 2, I get that, but it's also got an ability that lets you once during your turn, search your deck for 2 grass energy and attach them to one of your Pokemon. It's wonderful, because this will get 2 of the 4 energy that you need. If you've got 2 Rillaboom in play, you can just use both of their abilities and you've got all 4 energy and you're going now. And the thing we need to point out is that when we looked at Rillaboom V, we looked at it and went, well, hang on a second, 4 energy, 220. This is our best partner for the Rillaboom from Sword and Shield. It's kind of ridiculous now that we've got a VMAX, which is now even better than that one as a partner. Could or could not be, but certainly if you want to get up to the big damage, it is very much the better option. And this is what's so wonderful here. Now, it is also worth noting that we have a colourless energy in the attack cost, because we need to pay 4 energy. Attachment for the turn plus Rillaboom's ability is only 3 energy, we need the 4th. We can do it, but it gets a little bit awkward. Essentially, you could use something like Malamar, but that's a stage 1. You could use something like Welder, but then you're having to muck around with fire energy. I think my favourite option here would be using a couple of lightning energy, getting them in the discard, and then using Tapu Koko Prism Star to accelerate them. I don't know how easy that is because it's got to be lightning energy, and honestly, you've got to take a turn to evolve, so I don't know how needed it is. But I'm just saying it's an option, it's out there, it's something to be considering. And of course, if you're discarding 3 energy to attack, 1 from your hand, 2 from Rillaboom's ability, you can get those 3 energy back very easily. If you've got 1 Rillaboom out and only 1 Rillaboom out, the only thing you're ever really going to need to worry about is that 4th energy, and you should have time to attach it manually. You might have a second Rillaboom, or there are some slightly more awkward things that we can do. This is a good Pokemon that does a huge amount of damage. We were already looking at using Rillaboom V with Rillaboom, and Rillaboom VMAX is just going to add on another attack, which can KO tag team GXs. As a side note, Magikarp and Wailord is weak, so will go down. Ha! It's a good Pokemon. I'm giving it 4 Wassies. I do think we're going to see Rillaboom decks seeing play. They already are in Japan. And I think Rillaboom V is the best partner. And I think Rillaboom VMAX in those decks will see some play. So get ready to see some Rillaboom. But at this stage, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to know what you think about Rillaboom VMAX. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassiePlays, where you can find out about a whole bunch of games that don't have Pokemon in, but are still looking pretty gosh darned awesome. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.